Nkechi was no ordinary woman. Bold, rebellious, and unyielding, her fire often clashed with her husband Obuna's weary soul. Their home, once the heart of the compound, turned into a battlefield of words and defiance. On the day sorrow consumed him, Obuna pronounced a curse with his last breath, a curse that would bind Nkechi and her daughters for generations. They laughed, they mocked, they disrespected even in death. But after Obuna's burial, strange things began to stir in the night. The walls whispered, the fires dimmed on their own, shadows walked where no one stood. Her daughters wept, but it was too late. Something had awakened. What curse did Obuna leave behind? What fate awaits the rebellious daughters of Nkechi? Dare to find out in the curse of Nkechi's house. Once upon a time in the village of Ojini, there lived a kind farmer and his wife Obuna. Obuna was gentle and kind. He invested his strength and presence in his household, a family oriented man. He was blessed with 4 girls and a boy. He would have been happier, but unfortunately, Obuna had married a troublesome woman that lacked manners and principle. Her name was Nkechi. Nkechi was known for her bad character. Her mouth was poisonous. She caused chaos where there was peace, bringing heads together. She never received proper home training. She was disrespectful to anyone that crossed her. And the worst was that she had no regard for her husband. She ran her mouth wildly like a wildfire in the mouth. At any little misunderstanding, Nkechi pushed her husband harder and harder away from his life with her character and her bad mouth. And to make matters worse, she flirted around with men and challenged her husband anytime he spoke up. Do not think you're getting away with anything, Nkechi, my wife. There is karma. You may get it today or tomorrow, he would say, sorrow and unhappiness in his voice. What are you trying to do, woman? Look at your girls. They are looking up to you, my wife. They learn from your character and not what you say. If you are a leader, please lead by example. Karma, my foot. Do not bring our children into this matter. Since you have refused to be a man, allow me to run my home the way I want. What I speak stands, she would say, and stomp her feet hard on the floor. If you are done speaking, preacher, please let the kids serve your food. Time passed, and the children grew. Because of how they had seen their mother maltreat their father, they copied her thoroughly. The 4 girls became mannerless, disrespecting their father just like their mother. They all loved their mother more than their father. It hurt Obuna deeply. Whatever you do, you are still my children. The issue is none of you. But your mother, mother. Papa, can you please allow Mama to be? Without her, only God knows what our situation will be. Your situation is not bad. I provide all that you need. What more do you ask? Your mother is hanging her cloth where her hands cannot reach. Those material things never satisfy. It is a bait to ruin your lives, my daughter. Now is not time to wear fancy clothes and shine your faces with powder. Go to school, study hard. Who knows, God will bring a good man to love you in the future. But the girls would only mock and make fun of their father. The torment continued. The case was brought to the kinsmen. Nkechi was made to apologize to her husband with a foul. She was fined a foul. Her face and her twisted mouth were nothing to talk about. We shall see, don't worry. You brought me out to humiliate your wife, she yelled while the case was going on. We shall see. After her apology, which the kinsmen knew did not come from her heart, Nkechi increased her punishment and beat up her husband with her girls in front of the hut. The villagers watched in shame. Women closed their eyes. It was a shame she had brought to the women. They also fined her to pay a huge amount of money, or else she would no more participate in their meeting. Her constant fighting, not giving her husband food, her negligence and silent attitude pushed him away from her. And Obuna groaned in pain in silence. He endured, but he was suffering. And to make matters worse, Obuna became ill, very sick. He could not help himself, and it was in this time of his weakness, when he needed the love of his wife and children most, that they abandoned him. He forced himself to get up and find something to eat. Kechi left her husband to die in silence. Now go call those kinsmen to come and take care of you, she would torment. The sickness lasted. The son was the youngest. He tried to help his father as little as he could, giving him food when no one was around. But instead of him getting better, the sickness was getting worse. One day he called his family together. One night, when he knew that everyone was around. My children, I am getting tired day by day. I doubt if this disease will let me live. When he said that, the son started crying. Papa, please don't say that. I am sorry, my son, if I have made you sad. Forgive your father, he managed to say. And then, running his eyes around the room, he focused on his wife, staring hard at him. Look at yourself and your girls, woman. They have become like you. Tell me, a responsible man that will marry wayward girls like my children? I warned you. Now you will all reap what you have sown. He said, his breath becoming faster and harder, laboring to breathe as he coughed. Obuna, before his death, laid a curse on his wife and children. All of you that have contributed to my pains will face disgrace and hardship in life, he finally said, and went back into his room. Useless man, your word is not potent when you are alive. What made you think it will work when you are dead? The wife fired back. Papa, I am ashamed of you. The older daughter, Nzube, fired back also. Look at him. Are you sure he is not jealous of us? She said to her sisters as they laughed. The next morning, the family woke up to a shock. Their father was found dead by their younger brother. He screamed and alerted the household. The girls held their chests as if they felt his death. Actually, it was like a veil was taken out of their face. Some sobbed, some looked unsure of how to react. The woman Nkechi raised a fake alarm, sprawled on the ground in front of the hut. The villagers gathered. The kinsmen were unhappy. They had heard about his illness. They had supported him the way possible. But the deceased never got support from his own wife and children. He was buried before evening time, and the wife was led to a ritual of a widow, while she would grieve for her husband for 1 year. But it wasn't long before unusual things began to happen. The only one free was the young boy. He was now a teenager. The mother, the grieving widow, suddenly became pregnant while wearing a black cloth. This is an abomination. How can a widow grieving, wearing a black grieving cloth, be sleeping around? Nkechi was exposed by her pregnancy. Your sin has found you out. Look at you. The kinsmen thundered as they questioned her. How can you sleep around while mourning your husband? You are a disgrace to womanhood. Tell us, the sins you committed are after you. Your husband who could have protected you is no more. Who knows whether those scoundrel of girls you have are even his? For none of them behaves as our brother's blood. She was forced to remove the grief cloth and carry her pregnancy before the spirits destroyed her. The women excommunicated her. Life became hard for her. She cried and pleaded for forgiveness, but people's hearts were hardened. She tilled the farm and worked hard to eat. Before long, her 2 daughters became pregnant. The villagers shouted in alarm. This is not normal. It is a curse. The daughters hid in shame. While she battled her pregnancy, the daughters began to fight her. You are a wicked mother. You told us lies against Papa. Look at you, a mother pregnant with her children, a mourning woman. Shame, Mama, shame. The daughter screamed on her head. They even beat her up in her pregnancy. She was denied peace, just like she denied her deceased husband. One day she went to the stream to fetch water, and on her way, heavily pregnant, the labor started. It was a shock to her because the pregnancy was not due yet, but because of the stress she was going through, she couldn't carry the pregnancy to due terms. She fell on her knees in the forest on the road leading to the stream and travailed in pain. No one was there to help her. She cried loud in pain, but the echoes returned back to her. She writhed in pain, the pangs coming faster. She was sweating profusely. The baby was coming, and as she breathed heavily, the baby came out. She collapsed. When she woke, she found the baby dead. The villagers, while passing, had gathered around her, everyone in shock. She was disgraced openly. The women gathered, cleaned her, and took her home. The baby was a stillbirth and was buried in the forest. She cried back home as they helped her. The news spread. This is a disgrace. It serves her right. Karma is real. The villagers whispered. She better go and appease the gods. She sobbed through the night. She pleaded for forgiveness, but her daughters made life miserable for her. And as if the one happening was not enough, the remaining two daughters got pregnant too. And again the news spread. The kinsmen gathered. This is ridiculous. Have you seen, woman? Look at your breeds, they thundered. We will marry them off to any man willing to give them shelter. They are a bunch of disgrace. The kinsmen agreed. The young women were hurriedly married off. The only rites performed on their heads were their bride price. Old men, older than their father, came for them in marriage, and they had no choice but to accept. While in their husband's house, they toiled and labored for what to eat. Most of them were married to men with wives and children, so they were not the priority. The girls came to their mind. Mother misled us, the older one said. I have suffered so much, marrying a man old enough to be my father, a wicked man. They complained. My co-wives will not let me near our husband, one complained. They wept together. We treated father bad. God forgive us, they cried. Papa, forgive us, they cried. The girls agreed to visit his grave and plead for his forgiveness, but it was already too late. Their life was a mess and there was no change yet. Maybe things would change in the future. Be careful of the seed you sow in life. Do not take part in causing someone pain. Nothing goes for nothing. Couples, honor your spouse. Nkechi dishonored her home and her husband. Not only did her character affect her life, it ruined her entire family. In this story, it is Nkechi, but the same applies to men. Be a leader by example in your home. The way you treat your wife will not only affect her, but will also affect your children. Led by example, teach your children good manners through how you yourself treat others. The end. Please subscribe and share this with your loved ones. If you like the story, stay tuned. I will be seeing you next time. Bye for now.